everyone present over here. My name is Mamta Rajgor and I am from Civil Engineering Department, and our department organized the webinar. The title of the webinar is Project Management and its Application in the Industry. So first of all, thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. Let us introduce our today's speaker for the webinar is Mrs. Bhavika Rawal. She has completed her MTech in transportation. Currently, she is a senior project engineer in Synergy School of Business Skills, and she has a wide experience of in the field, having a 13 years of industrial experience and the academic experience. Ma'am, please share your knowledge with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, once again, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a Bhavika Rawal, and basically, I'm a civil engineer. I'm worked with the Synergy School of Business Skills since last 13 years, and we provide a training on management softwares, as well as we are also provide solutions to the corporate companies like ABB and L&T. Right now we are dealing with this project management and its applications in industries. So as you are already learn about the project management, so first we will start up with the basic concept of what is a project management, and then we will move to the software part. So what is a project? So this is the book definition. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to accompany a unique product, services, or a results. Whatever the things we had done first time, or else suppose once you are coming in your college very first day, that is called as a project, because you are synchronize your task with respect to your time. That is called as a project. Now, what is a process? Process means when you are coming repetitively to your college, that is called as a process. Done? So what is the meaning of project? Project means we are performing number of tasks within the time and within the cost. That is called as a project. So according to the book definition, project is a temporary. These two are the characteristic of project, temporary and unique. Like our civil project, dam construction, it will take say 20 year or 15 years. But in the planning stage, we are already defined the finish date of those project. So each project is temporary and each project is unique. Unique means features is different. Every time we are construct a bridge, but at that time dimension is different, or else location is different. So that is called as a uniqueness. There are three type of project. Either project may be a product oriented, service oriented, or a result oriented. Product, suppose we are casting a bridge or as manufacturing of car, that is a product oriented project. What is a service oriented? Right now in your college they are providing guidance about your subject, that is a service oriented project. Or results, some researchers on a hardware or software, suppose some they are develop some IT sectors, they are developing some software or hardware, that is a result oriented project. So in another way we can also say that a project can be also defined as a group of tasks performed in a given time period, keeping the time, cost, risk, and the performance of the project. Here at the bottom, these three are the basic backbone of any project: scope, time, and cost. So first we are deal with the scope. What is the scope? Scope means what we have to do in the project, that is called as a scope. Suppose if you want to construct your own residential building. So residential building is your project title. What is the scope of project? That means we are describing like we want up to a first floor, we want this kind of the flooring, we want this kind of the paint. So whatever our requirement for that particular residential building, that is called as a scope. Now to fulfill our scope, we have to divide our project into the activities, like we first do excavation, footing, then plinth, like that. So we are dividing our activity. Now we have to put up the duration in those activities. So how we can calculate the durations? In the industry, majority they are calculate the duration based on their past experience. Like L&T is already done many project on a road construction. So they are already having the idea, like 1 kilometer road stretch is there. So for the excavation of 1 kilometer road, they need a 15 days then, and that much manpower. So similarly, based on their past experience, they are put up the duration in the activity. Like excavation will take that much. Suppose concreting work is there, then for 100-meter cube, we need a 3 days, like that. So like that, they are defining the duration of those activity. After defining the duration, that will give you a project duration. Then whenever we are linking the activity, then that will give you a project duration. So that is related to the time parameter. Now what is a cost? Whenever we are assigning the resources, resource means manpower, material and machinery, 3M, that will give you a cost. Suppose for excavation, we need one excavator, two labor, one supervisor, one site engineer. So whatever the people or manpower, material or machineries we have to put up in the activities, that will give you a project cost. Done? So this is basic triangle: scope, time and cost. Any project, any industry evaluate the success of project based on these three parameters: scope, time and cost. Now quality. Throughout the project we have to maintain the quality. Which kind of the quality? Either material quality, that would be good, or else the people who is working on site, his workship, that also be a good. So this is about the project. Now some example of the project, we can utilize this PPM concept in any high rise building, dam, irrigation network, any commercial construction. We can utilize this to develop any infrastructure facilities like a road, bridges, railway, airport and on. Power plant and fertilizer plant to develop the refinery, we can utilize these things. We are also utilize this PPM concept in non-engineering sectors also, like production management, maintenance and shutdown management, any material management, human resource management, logistic and supply management. To develop any software or hardware, we can utilize this PPM concept. Now area of application, widely it is used in EPC, engineering, procurement and construction field. We can utilize this field, PPM concept, as well as we can also utilize in aeronautical, IT sectors, aerospace sectors, as well as marine and manufacturing and any military applications. We can utilize this software. Now next is what is project management. Suppose project, now you know about the project. Project means we are performing the task within the time and within the cost, that is called as a project. So now what is a management? Management, that means after you do the planning, like suppose your residential building project is there, and if we had already planned your project is finished within the 1 year and your project cost is 20 lakh. So planning is already done. So what is management? Management means after the planning, we have to monitor our project. Like we are not going after a completion of 1 year, we are reached to the site and we are check whether my project is completed or not. So each and every company do the monitoring every 10 or 15 days. Every company have a meetings or update meeting, or else status review of the site. So based on that, you have to do the monitoring. Like when we are do the monitoring after 10 days, software will show you like after 10 days your project should be completed 6%. And when we monitor those things on site, we monitor that like my project on site is still 3%. So based on that, you can do as a project manager, you have to control and coordinate, because now your project is going to be a delay. Your software is saying till that day you have to perform 6%, and on site you are only perform 3%. So you are going to be a delayed. So now to control this, as a project manager, either we need to put up the overtime, we need to increase the resources, either we can change the relationship. So this is called as a controlling and coordinating our project. Right? So management, so project management is the art of planning, monitoring, controlling and coordinating all aspects of the project by utilize available resources, man, material and machinery, by using the modern management technique during the execution of project to achieve predetermined project objectives. Whatever our objectives, scope, time, and cost, we have to maintain that. Now, all the company work on PDCA cycle. PDCA, plan, P stand for plan. Do, that means on site we have to do the execution on site or on workshop. Then check every 10 or 15 days we have to monitor our project whether it is according to the plan or else not. So we have to check it. And after next is your act. If something goes deviate, if something is going to be a delay, then we have to react. So PDCA cycle. Now, as we all are civil engineers, so we know about the codes, IS code. For suppose say RCC, we are having a code, still we are having a code. Similarly, for a project management, PMI Institute is there, Project Management Institute, US based institute is there. They are developed a project management book that is called as a POM book. Based on that, and this book is globalized, utilized for this and manage the any kind of the project. So based on that book, any project pass through basic 5 process: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closeout. So what is a process? Process, that means interrelated with each other. Okay? Suppose after the initiation, then we can go to planning. So according to us, what we have to do in the initiation? Suppose if you are your residential building, if we have to construct, so what we have to do in initiation? Normally we are started with the like defining the scope. What is your requirement? We are just started with the scope in the initiation. After defining the scope according to the to requirement of the clients, then we have to go to the planning stage. Planning stage, in the planning we are do the planning of all our activities, whatever the manpower, material, machinery required, we have to put up those things in the project. After the planning, we have to start execution on site. Then we have to do the monitoring and controlling. And last, that is your closeout phase. So this is basic 5 process. We are working like that. But based on the Project Management Institute POM book, in the initiation there are 2 process. In the planning there are 24 process. In the execution there are 10 process. Monitoring, controlling having a 12 process, and closeout having a 1 process. To sum up all those number, we are having a 49 process. So if you are follow the code, if you are follow the POM book, based on that book, you have to follow all the 49 processes. So what is the initiation? In the initiation, there are 2 process, like develop the project charter. Develop project charter, that is a 2-page legal document. In that, whole the detail is mentioned, like what is the project name, purpose of project, tentative project finish date, tentative project cost, who is the project manager for this project. So this kind of 2-page document is created, and this is a legal document which shows the existence of the project in that company. So in that project, like L&T, like L&T company is there, they are working in a different different field. Like they are do the civil project, mechanical project. In the civil, they are do the road project, by say bridge project, all those projects. So at that time, who is the project manager for this project? They are getting the idea about, from this developing the project charter. So in the initiation, first we need to develop the project charter. Second, we need to identify the stakeholders. What is a stakeholder? Stakeholders is a person who is directly or indirectly affect to your project. That is called as a stakeholder. That means suppose bridge project is there. So we civil engineer are not only plan a bridge project. Then who are involved in this project? So first they made one register, and in that suppose civil department is involved, mechanical for bearing they are involved, for electrification electrician involved, like that. And from that department we have to consult which person. So at that time they are just one register is there, and in that register whole the detail regarding that people is available. Okay? So in the initiation, in the MNC type company, they are follow the POM book, and based on that book this process are going on. Not, we are not defining the scope. The actually scope we have to define in the planning stage. So after completion of this 2 process, in the planning there will be a 24 process. In that, first we have to manage the plan, develop project management plan. Project management plan, that means we have to make a subsidiary plans. How we have to define the scope? We are not directly write the scope according to the requirement of client. Then we have to do the survey which technology is right now going on in a market, and based on that, or which kind of material is latest, which type of material is economic, which kind of the labor we required. So based on the survey of that, then we have to define the scope. So first, do the subsidiary plan. Then second step is collect the requirement. We have to gather the requirement according to the current market scenario. After that, we need to develop the scope. After develop the scope, then we have to create a WBS. So what is a WBS? Work breakdown structure. We are dividing our project in a manageable modules so that we can easily deliver our outputs. Like a breach project is that. So what is my WBS for a breach project? We are not directly start up with like excavation and footing like that. We have to divide the major project, any EPC project, first divide in design, procurement and execution. First we have to do the design. What is the procurement? We have to manage the material which we have to awarded with the contract to any vendors. And then third, that is your execution phase. Execution, that means then we are do the on-site execution. At that time your excavation and all those process are coming. Yeah? So any planning required this first three steps: design, procurement and execution. After the design, if we are decompose the design, if we are dividing the design domain, so we can do the civil design, mechanical design, piping engineering design, like that. So whenever we are decomposing our project, that is called as the levels. Whenever we are fill up any government tender, they are asking like we want a planning up to a L3 level. So what is the meaning of L3? Level 3. First level is design, procurement and execution. Second level is decomposition of design, like mechanical, civil, piping, like that. If we are decomposing, again civil department, like designing of a column, designing of beam, like that, or designing of footing, so that is a L1, L2, L3. Majority mechanical and civil project go up to a L6 planning. Government body required up to a L4 planning. So we do up to the L4 planning. After do the planning, that means we are dividing our WBS. The next step, that is your activity. Activity, that means what we have to actually perform. Suppose say for example painting. Again, painting is not an activity. We can say that painting is a WBS, major domain. In the painting, we can also further divide that painting, apply first coat, apply second coat, apply final paint, like that. Okay? So we can again divide. Whenever you are dividing your project, that means you are accurately working on your project. If you are directly put up the design, have 100 days, procurement required 20 days. So after 50 days, you are getting the idea, just like a design is completed 50%. But in which area, which domain, how many percentage are coming, that you didn't get it. Yeah? So that's why we need to decompose our project in a manageable modules. After dividing WBS, then put up activities, then put up the duration according to our past experience. There are many methods to calculate the duration. Majority industries are following the parametric calculation. Parametric, which we had already discussed, like L&T already working with 1 kilometer road. Now they have to deal with the 5 kilometers road. So multiplying ratio based on the parametric calculation, we can quantify the duration. Or else we can put up according to the past experience. Or else in the college we are work with the PERT, but now the PERT is escalate with program evaluation review technique for any duration calculation. Someone say like suppose if I want to excavate one 20-meter cube dug, at that time one person is saying like it will take 1 day, some person saying 2 days, some person saying 3 days. So at that time there are many statistical formulas, and we are working with the PERT also. TO, optimistic time, plus TP, 4 times TM, mean time, plus TP, pessimistic time. 3 times is there: TO, TP and TM. And based on that mathematical formula, we are calculate the duration in the past. But now all the company have their own standards. Like L&T is already done lots of work on a bridge and road, so they don't need to calculate again how to calculate this excavation or all those things. They are having their own standard. So now this part is also escalate from the software also. Okay? So now we are calculate the duration of activity based on past experience or else any parametric calculations. After that, we need to define the relationship between the activities. After the completion of A, B will be started. So there are four type of relationship. First is finish to start. When A is finished, then B is started. Second is start to start. Both activities start on a same date. The theoretical meaning is when two activity parallelly run, that is called as the start to start. Then third is finish to finish, when two activity finish on the same date, that is called as a finish to finish. And last is start to finish. Start to finish, B activity cannot finish until the A starts. This is a reverse of finish to start, but normally we are not utilize this kind of relationship in industries. Normally we are utilize first three. Yeah? So after provide a relationship, we are getting the project duration. Then after getting the duration, if we want to do the detailed planning, then we do the resources. So sometimes the tender required like do up to the L3 planning. So at that time, we are not do the detailed planning. We are just do the phase one planning. In the phase one planning, we are define the activity duration relationship, and based on our past experience we have to increase 10 to 8% our amount and then directly quote the tender. If you are awarded with the tender, then you do the detailed planning. Detailed planning, that means in the each and every activity you need to put up your resources, manpower, material and machineries. Then after put up that those resources, you are getting exact amount of that particular project. Then so this planning phase is completed. In the planning phase, you are getting the two things: project duration and project cost. Now execution phase is going on. On-site execution is going on. Then you have to do every 10 or 15 days, you have to monitor it, whether it is going according to plan or not. After monitoring, if you found something is going to be a delay, then you need to control it. Control, that means either you can do the stretching, crunching, that is the scenario. Either you, that means you need to put up the increase the resource in particular activity, critical activity, so that is reduce your duration. And then again update your cycles. These three things is going on till end of your project. Some execution is going on, we have to monitor every 10 days. Then if something goes deviate, control and update. And after last, that is your closeout phase. So according to our all the three constraints like a scope, time and cost, if all the project is completed, then we can say that our project is closed. Right? So whatever the things I had explained in this management, exactly we have to do in the softwares. Now, why project management? The purpose of project management planning is to build a model that allow to predict the activities and the resources that are critical for the timely completion. It allows the strategies to be implanted to ensure that these activities and the resource are managed and project is delivered on time and within budget. So mainly in the past, there are also bridge construction going on, dam construction going on. Still, this construction are going on right now. So why we are enforcing this? Why you should aware about this project management courses and all those things? Because nowadays this enforcement are increased in a company because they have to deliver the project on time, within the budget and within the available resources. If L&T have only a 50 civil engineers, they have to complete that project within that people. They cannot hire the other peoples. So that's why we are do this management. Planning helps to avoid delay in the project, losses of revenue and facilities, contractual dispute, improvement in the performance efficiency and the profitability. That means if we are do the planning, we can avoid all those things. Suppose we can say that our civil project is going for a 20 years, then like a dam construction. So if today's price for a cement bag, that is a 500. So after completion of project, which price we have to consider in that project? So normally, if we had done the planning properly and if we had done contract properly, based on that, we can avoid that disputes. Now, in the planning, there are steps involved in a project planning and management. These are the basic steps. If you are not, if any smaller company not follow all the 49 process based on the POM book, but they are following these steps. Huh? Like a scope definition. Scope definition, that means we have to define the scope, what is the requirement of client. Then define the duration. Here not exact duration, we are defining like your project is start on 21, now your project is going to finish on 25. So this is tentative project start finish date. Now prepare the schedule. You have to prepare the schedule. That means you have to define activity, duration, and give the relationship that is called as the prepare the schedule. Then, then define the resources. Define the resources. That means we have to create one list which kind of the resources we required to perform this kind of the project. Like a residential project is there, we need masons, we need a labor, supervisor, site engineer, design engineer, like that we have to create a list. But for excavation, we don't need every person. Then we need an excavator to labor, like that. So whatever the people required for us, we have to assign over here in the defined resources. Sorry, in the assigned resources. Right? After that, prepare the cost and budget for the project. So like that, we have to create a budget of our project. Like your residential project, 1 year is your planning time, and your planning cost is supposed to say 20 lakhs. After that, prepare the target schedule. So your target schedule is completed. You can submit that schedule to your client. Now incorporate any management changes if required. That means sometimes what happen, suppose sometimes some changes that maybe come from the client also. Like initially they are allow, like we want a marble flooring, and later on they are just when execution is going on, they are just say like I want a spartex tiles. So this kind of the changes is coming at that time. We have to create our project in a such a way that to consider all the domains. That means we have to create our subsidiary plan also. Don't follow with a one cost and one time. Okay? Then update the progress. We have to, after when execution is going on, we have to update our project, compare progress to your target. What is the plan? You have to compare with your actuals, variance and performance evaluation. Which is the variable, either in the form of time or in the form of cost. You have to monitor it, and recommended future plan of action. So what if your project is going on delay, then what is your action? You have to compare it. So this is the basic steps. Now project management information system, PMIS. It is a one or more software application process for collecting and using the project information. That means any software, any project management software, what softwares are doing, they are collecting the site information. Then, so each and every project management software has this facilities, like a create WBS creation facility, calendaring features is there, scheduling features is there, earned value management control. Earned value, that means suppose if your project is, you are updated your project, and if you want to check whether my project is going to be delayed, then how much amount we have to spend in this delay. Then, so this earned value management, that leads to forecast your project. Now if delay is going on, so now my project is finished on which date. So this earned value is a very important terminologies are there. There are many terminologies in earned value, and it's very important to evaluate our project future. Yeah? Now gain chart and other charting features is also available in a different software. Calculation for the critical path, earned value management, target date based on the project schedule. So that is also available. Resource tracking and labeling also available. Resource tracking, that means suppose my company have a 5 civil engineer, and suppose some in one project they are utilize only a 2%. So which 3 people idle and when they are idle, so we can easily track those things. We can label the resource. Label, that means if we are having a 5 civil engineer and at a time we need a 6 or 7, so that is called as over allocation, and we can also resolve that things. And report functionality is also available in each and every softwares. Okay? Now for that, mostly right now in a market, these two software are dealing with the project management. There are many softwares, but mostly these two softwares are in a demand for a project management: Microsoft Project and Oracle Primaveras. Now this both the software we can do a planning at any length. We can plan out DEM project in a Microsoft project also, and we can also do a planning in a Primavera. Microsoft project generally utilized for a when the your project is going your company is working in a single field. Like suppose my company is working only on a breach project, then I go for a Microsoft project. But if my company work on a different domain, like my like L&T, they are working in a road and bridge and piping project, fabrication project, vessels project, at that time they prefer to do a Primavera. Now Microsoft project, that is a project management software developed and sold by the Microsoft. So this software is made up by Microsoft, and we are familiar with the Excel, so it is easy to run with this Microsoft project, which is designed to develop the plan, assigning the resource to task, tracking the progress, managing the budget, and analyzing the workload. So we can analyze it. What are the features of the softwares? We can do the scheduling, resource analysis, cost estimation, tracking the project progress, monitoring, controlling, report generations, and the multiple project supports. So we can also create the multiple projects also. Now another, that is a Oracle Primavera. Oracle Primavera is a enterprise project portfolio management, is the world's leading project and portfolio management software that enables the software driven organizations to intelligently manage their program and project from small and simple to large and complex project. Why we are utilize this Oracle Primavera? Right now Oracle Primavera is more demand in market because we are work with that is a fully web version. Web version, that means it's like a Yahoo. You just need to log in, just need ID password according to your company they give you. You just need to log in, you can log in anywhere anytime, and you can work on your project. Then why this both the software, that is depend on the client requirement. It is not mandatory like all the company right now switch to the Primavera only. Still L&D using Primavera as well as MS project according to the requirement of the client. Like the Tata consultancy, initially they are working on a Microsoft project, but they awarded with this metro train project. So the from the Japanese, they want the planning only in a Primavera, so that's why they gave a training over here. So like that, this software choose of the software, that is depend on which you are going in a which company. Based on that, which kind of the customers your company are dealing with, based on that they are utilize this softwares, either MS project or Primavera. But yeah, in the Primavera we are having some advanced features, like we can say that AutoCAD and the Revit. If we want to do the 3D modeling, we are go through Revit. Similarly, MS project is your basic version. We can say that Primavera is somehow advanced version. In the Gulf country, mostly they are prefer Primavera only, but in India or else any other country, we are preferred both the softwares. Yeah. Now, advantages of using a formal project management software tool. Why we are utilize this software? To optimize the time, improve the efficiency of operation, obtain the better understanding of the objective, optimize the resource, provide the basis for monitoring and controlling the work, improve the productivity, better internal coordination and help in a tracking proactive actions, better control of the financial, physical as well as human resource. So as a project manager, we can optimize the time and improve the efficiency. We can also quantify the risk. Suppose there are two type of risk in the project. First, when your project is executed on site, and during the executions the risks are coming, like we all aware about those risks, like when execution on site is going on, material is not reaching on time, some labor are going on a strike. So this all kind of the risk are coming in your project. So this is during execution. We have to also quantify the risk in prior to your planning, which kind of the risk affect to my project. So for that, we need to calculate the topographical, geographical condition, environmental condition, political conditions. Then, like some one project is we have to deal in a Vadodara. Suppose if we are do that project in a Gujarat, and similar second project, breach project, we are going in Assam. So at that time, in the Assam, there is a black cotton soil. We need to strengthen the footing. So that same dimension, same length of breach is there, but we need extra amount in Assam compared to Gujarat. Then similarly, one project is going on in a Vadodara and another project going on in a Kashmir. At that time, if your project here in a Vadodara or else in a Gujarat, it may be finished within the time. But in the Kashmir, it takes a more time compared to the Gujarat. Why? Because there after the 6 p.m. labor cannot work on a site. So here we are working with the 8 to 8. Yeah? So based on the topographical, geographical, political, cultural conditions, we have to quantify those risks. Like suppose if our slab casting that is coming on a holy time, we know that in the during the holy, all the 21 days labor is not available. So for that, we have to put up some buffer time and buffer cost in the project. Then that will give you a better planning option, because when you are do the planning, like my project is started on January and my project is finished on March, this is your planning, and when execution is going on, at that time your project is going to be a delay and it would be maybe finish on December. So that is not efficient planning. Yeah? So we need to put up buffer time and buffer cost in the project, and the software helps us to provide those things. Yeah? So any questions regarding this? If you have, then you can just message me. Then now we are moved to the software part. For that, we are having a MS project and Primavera. So just MS project. Right now, we are work with the MS project. It is a similar like Excel. We can do the whole planning over here. Okay. So right now we are just do a startup with the project work. Suppose say if I want to start up with the breach project, so I'm just write a main domain. I'm not writing all the activities like in the design we are do the civil work, mechanical work. I'm just write the initials of the activities. So what we need to put up in the activity first, what we need to require to fill this software. In the software, we need to put up the three things. We need to add the activity. We need to add the duration of those activity based on our past experience. Right now, I'm just put up as it is. After put up the relationship, we need to provide a relationship between the activities. Then, so suppose after completion of A, B will be started. After completion of C, D will be started like that. Okay. So after put up the relationship, we need to put up three things: activity, duration, and relationship. That means we are assigning the predecessor. Predecessor, that means this activity follows which activity, we need to assign that. After assign, we will be getting the two things: project duration, project start date and finish date, and you are also find the critical path. This critical path, that means what is the your activity is critical based on your duration. Whatever the time we had put up in those activity, we have to finish that activity within that time. Otherwise, it will affect to your project duration. So my planning is done. Suppose 27 days project is there and start date and finish date is already defined. After that, if I want to do the detailed planning, then we can create the resources also. Like we need whatever the manpower, material, or Then we need to put up the rates. Either we can put up the daily basis, or else we can put up the hourly basis. So here first we are creating the resources. Then after create, whatever the resource required for this project, we have to create it. After create, we need to assign it in the activities. So that will give you a cost to your activity. So now if we are adding the cost like 1,000 rupees per day, and cement bag price right now 450 rupees per bag, and labor price that is 250 rupees per day. So like that we need to put up the create the resources. After create the resources, we have to assign it in the activities. So after assign, we are getting the project cost. Then whatever the resource we need in those activity, we need to put up that. Okay. So after create this, we are getting the cost as well as we are getting the work. Sorry. So this is the way we have to create our project. The planning is already done. Now after that, we have to do the updating. After every 10 or 15 days, we have to monitor our project. So we have to update our project, give any date. Suppose after 1 week, if I want to check what should be my progress. So on 18th, I'm just check this. So we are already update this. So till that time, this two activities should be finished off. Based on the percentage, we are getting the idea about the how many percentage till that time we have to perform. Now if you want to put up your actuals, so you can put up your actuals over here. It's like this activity is still 50 percentage, this activity is not 67%, this activity is supposed to say 55 percentage, like that. So you can put up your actuals. Whenever you are put up your actuals and reschedule, you are getting the your whole the project is going to be a delayed, because you are not work according to your planning. Then, so based on that, you can evaluate these things. Now if you want to again realign your project is initially finished on this date, but now your project is going to finish on this date. So if you want to mitigate this date in the critical activity, you have to put up some overtimes, or else you can increase the resources. Based on that, you can again realign your project. Okay. So this is in the MS project, you can do the planning of any length of the project. But whenever your company is working in a single field, then go for the MS project. In the MS project, reporting facilities are good. We can draw any report that is easily available. After updating, you can do any project reports generated. You can directly do the printout. Okay. Again, and the reports cost overview, so you are already getting the idea about what is the cost related projects are there. So all the report are easily generated because it is similar like a excel, and Microsoft create this thing. So that is again all the facility which is available in excel, that is available over here also. Okay. So like that we can create the project in a MS project. And similarly, Primavera, we can also create the similar way in a Primavera, but Primavera is somehow advanced version. It is a web version. Whenever we are purchasing the Primavera, we are having the web version as well as client version and the team members. Team members is somehow advanced. What is the team members? In the team members, suppose in right now in the MS project, I am changing on site status. Instead of my activity 100%, I am put up no on site. It is a completed till 50%. So I'm manually put up that percentage. But when in a Primavera, if we are working with the team members, and in the B activity, suppose on site, the labor and supervisor, if they are fill up their time sheet, like instead of 8 hours, they are working 4 hours only. So based on that time sheet, automatically B activity is 50% updated in the software. So that facility is available in the advanced Primavera. Primavera is similar like a MS project. We can do the entry work over here, but again, we are already getting the project duration, start date, finish date. We can also monitor this gain chart. Then here, advanced features is that we can do the communication with your higher authority. At the lower window, discussion is there. That means in the Primavera, there is no need to send email separately. We can directly do the communication regarding any activity with our higher authority. So in the discussions, whenever we are writing anything, that is already we can send to our higher authorities. Whatever the linking person in the web is available with this particular project and with this activity, that message is already delivered to them. Then similarly, we can also do the feedback, that means communications to your site people. Then so that facility is also available in the Primavera. So this is advanced facility compared to MS project. And in the notebook we can add the topic wise. In each and every software they are having this. Then so we can add this topic wise, and we can write the things over here. Then so like that we are having this uh, two softwares, and mostly both the softwares are work mostly both the softwares are work for this management, and we can do the any kind of the planning over here. Then so thank you so much. Right now, I'm just stop over here, and thank you so much, Mamta ma'am, for your invitations.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for speaking to students about the project management and its application in the industries. The students who attended really enjoyed your presentation. We appreciate you making the time in your busy schedule to speak to the students.
Thank you.
On
Thank you.
behalf of Civil Engineering Department, Parul Institute of Technology, I justly express my thankfulness to you for accepting our invitation and taking out your treasured time to show up at our webinar on the important topic regarding the project management and its application in the industry.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any question from the students? If you have any query, then you can ask right now. I think there is no query from student side.
Okay.
So we can stop our webinar over here.
Okay.
Thank you so much once again, ma'am.